Face-to-face peace talks between Ukraine and Russia are likely to start in Turkey on Tuesday, the Kremlin has said, as Kyiv insisted that with Moscow's invasion largely stalled, it was not prepared to make any concessions on its territorial integrity. The Russian President, Vladimir Putin, and his Turkish counterpart, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, agreed on Sunday that ceasefire talks would be held in Istanbul, possibly beginning as early as the following day. The Kremlin spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, said on Monday, however, that Tuesday was more likely. Further comment could only hurt the negotiation process, but the fact talks were continuing to take place in person is, of course, important, he said. Officials have played down the chances of a major breakthrough, but observers said the two sides' first in-person encounter since a bad-tempered meeting between the Russian Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, and his Ukrainian counterpart, Dmytro Kuleba, in Antalya on 10 March was a sign that the dynamics may be shifting. Kyiv has suggested that with Russia's invasion forces held up by stiff Ukrainian resistance, heavy losses and mounting tactical and logistical problems, Moscow may be more willing to compromise as its hopes of installing a new government fade. Having failed in its attempt to encircle the Ukrainian capital and force the government's capitulation, the Russian Defense Ministry said last week that it was shifting its focus to expanding the territory held by pro-Russian separatists in eastern Ukraine. Both sides have spoken of a possible formula under which Ukraine might accept some kind of formal neutral status, but neither has shifted on Russia's territorial claims, which include Crimea, seized by Moscow in 2014, and the eastern Donbas region. Ukraine's President, Volodymyr Zelensky, said at the weekend that some form of compromise involving Donbas may be possible but did not suggest the region might be ceded, making clear that territorial integrity was Kyiv's priority. Lavrov said a meeting between Putin and Zelensky, who have met only once, in Paris in 2019 would be counterproductive at this stage, and that one would be needed, as soon as we are close to resolving all key issues. He repeated that Russia's demands included Ukraine's demilitarization, denazification, and future neutrality, and said the current crisis had been brewing so long, all these years, that a huge number of problems have built up. Zelensky, who has suggested the question of neutrality should be put to voters in a referendum after Russian troops withdraw, said Kyiv understands it is impossible to liberate all territory by force, but that his country's sovereignty and territorial integrity are beyond doubt. Effective security guarantees are mandatory, he said. Peskov said Russia cannot see any substantial achievements or breakthroughs so far, a sentiment Vadim Denisenko, a Ukrainian Interior Ministry advisor, echoed on Monday. Peskov also said comments on Saturday by the U.S. President, Joe Biden, in which he described Putin as a butcher who cannot remain in power, as alarming. The White House has denied Biden was seeking regime change in Moscow. In an interview with The Economist, Zelensky said he did not think Putin visualizes in his own mind the same Ukraine we see. He sees Ukraine as a part of his worldview, but that doesn't correspond with what's happened over the last 30 years. He said Moscow was throwing Russian soldiers like logs into a train's furnace, and criticized the West's sanctions as incomplete. We believe in victory. It's impossible to believe in anything else, he said. We will definitely win because this is our home, on our land, our independence. It's just a question of time. Russia's invasion, which was launched on the 24th of February, has killed thousands and driven more than 10 million people from their homes, including almost 4 million who have fled abroad, mainly to Poland. Ukraine's foreign ministry said the situation in Mariupol was catastrophic, with about 170,000 civilians encircled by Russian forces and supplies of food, water and medicine dwindling fast. France, Greece and Turkey are hoping to launch a mass evacuation from the southern port city within days. Ukraine's economy minister, Yulia Sviridenko, said on Monday that the invasion had so far cost the country nearly $565 billion, £431 billion, in terms of damage to infrastructure, lost economic growth and other factors, with 8,000 kilometers, 4,970 miles, of roads and 10 square meters of housing damaged or destroyed. Ukrainian forces went on the offensive last week, pushing Russian troops back in areas around Kyiv and in the northeast and the southwest. Russia's armored columns are largely bogged down, with trouble resupplying and making little or no progress, although they continue to pulverize residential areas. As of today, the enemy is regrouping its forces, but they cannot advance anywhere in Ukraine, the country's deputy defense minister, Hanna Maliar, said on Monday. A senior Ukrainian military official said the country's defense forces were holding back Russian troops trying to break through from the northeast and northwest, while in the south they were focused on defending the cities of Kryvyi Rih, Zaporizhzhia and Mykolaiv.